Okay, so the materials you'll need is a category size 6 yarn. This is the Preemie blanket yarn, baby soft. So really any soft size 6 category yarn, any color, whatever you'd like to do will work. You'll also need a 8mm crochet hook, a 6.5mm crochet hook. You will need scissors, a stitch marker. This is the one that I use. You'll also need a tapestry needle, something that you can make sure that you'll get your bulky yarn in. And then this doesn't have to be sharp. We're just weaving it through under loops. You will also need something to measure with. So like I have this. It came in my crochet kit. Okay, so to get started, we need to make our slip knot. And this is how I do mine. There's other ways of how people do theirs, but I just do wrapped around my finger. So there's 2 on, and I go over 1, over 2, and then over all the way off the 3rd. And then starting with your 6.5 crochet, you just tighten that up. Okay, so I'll show you one more time, just in case whoever has not done this before. Okay, so you're going to take your finger, you're going to take your yarn, you're going to over 1, over 2, hold it with these, it's easier, and then you're going to take this loop, put it over that one once, take this loop, put it over that one the second time, and you're going to take this loop and you're going to put it over that one, but you're going to drop it off. And you're going to insert your hook right there and tighten it. It's going to look messy at first, but you just tighten it. And that is your slip knot. Okay, so we begin here with the foundation chain. You are going to chain 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so I have 5 chains. Okay, so the one on your hook never counts. You never count this one. This is your slip knot, so you don't want to count this. You really just want to look for the V's. And sometimes with this bulky yarn, it's better to look for the holes, but you can count here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this doesn't count, this does. Now in the second chain from your hook, so not this one, but this one, you're going to do a slip stitch. So a slip stitch is you insert your hook, insert your hook, pull up a loop, and pull it through the one on your hook. Okay, I'll show you again. I'm going to zoom out just a little bit here. Okay. So slip stitch, insert your hook, pull up a loop, and pull it through. Okay, now we have 2 more left. Insert your hook, pull up a loop, pull it through. That is a slip stitch. Insert your hook, pull up a loop, pull it through. Okay, so now we have 1, 2, 3, 4. even though we chained 5, we skipped that first chain from the hook, so we have 4. You should have 4. Now what you do is you take your working yarn and you're going to chain 1. So you're going to yarn over and you're going to pull through. That's a chain. And then you're going to turn your work. Now we are just going to continue slip stitching all the way up the brim. It's super simple as that. And once you get more fabric down here, it'll be easier to hold and slip stitch and chain. But for now, we are going to only work in the back loop. So back loop only, slip stitching all the way up. So let me show you here, back loop only. Okay, pull up a loop and slip stitch. Now I like to take this, I like to take this one and pull it just because you'll lose it sometimes. But especially if you're just beginning, I would highly recommend pulling that up just a little bit. And you'll see why later on as we work up. Always with your slip stitches as well, make sure you're doing them loose. So if you're somebody that's slip stitching pretty tight, make sure you're loosening it with your hook a little bit. So we're going to insert into the back loop, pull up a loop, pull it through, pull it up. Okay, looking from the top, back loop only, pull up your loop. Okay, and again, back loop only, pull it up. So because there's only 4, it'll work up a lot faster. So 1, 2, 3, 4. You're gonna always, at the end, you're gonna chain 1 and you're gonna turn your work. Okay, so back loop only. And we're gonna insert your hook, pull up. Okay, see how it kind of twists in like that? It's always a good idea to pull it up so that way you don't lose it. See how it gets so small? Okay, to like twist it out just a smidge. So that was 2. Here is 3rd. And here is the 4th. Okay. So probably gonna do 1 more and then we'll measure and see where we're at. 2, 3, and 4. Okay. So put that right there. Take this. So you want to make sure a couple things. You want to make sure that you're not stretching it, you're just putting it over so gently. Perfect. Okay, so 11.5 is what we want without stretching it or pulling it. We don't want to have to, stretch our work. It makes a huge difference. Okay, that's number 1. Number 2, make sure that you're ending with the working yarn and the foundation chain tail on the same side. It makes cinching easier, and then it's important for when we are finishing our hat, leaving at our ends later. You'll see why. And then 3rd thing, make sure that you're ending with an extension, not a full braid. So see how these are full braids. you just want an extension. So once you see that you're here with just the extension right here, and then your working yarn is the same side as your foundation tail, and you're at approximately 11.5, you are good to cinch together the hat. So we are going to pull this up. Okay, and then we're going to switch over to the foundation side. Zoom in here so you can see it better. And once you're on the foundation side, you don't want to go right up top here. So we don't want to be, right in here. We want to be a little further down in here. Okay, so, and honestly, it's just an eyeball. And you're just going to pull that guy back. Okay. And then you're going to go down. And then you're going to grab the back loop. And you're going to slip stitch. Pull it through both. It's going to be a little hard. Hang on. Okay. And then slip stitch. Okay, you do want this kind of tighter. So again, you've got this one. We're going to go down here a little bit. Okay, into the back loop of your work. Pull up a loop. Sometimes it helps going forward and then coming back out. Now, at the very end here, I know I said don't go too close to the top, but at the very end here, it's okay to go in that last loop. It'll look better when you have them and you cinch it shut, and then go straight to the back loop over here. I know it's kind of hard to see, but that would be right here into the back loop. This one's being difficult. Pull up your yarn and slip stitch. Okay, so that, see how seamless it looks? Okay, so now we are going to pull this up. You can take your hook out and flip it inside out. Okay, and there's your brim. Now later on, you see this kind of gap right here, how it kind of jumps. When we weave this in, you just tuck it over here, and then you can't see that, and that's all seamless. So now we are on to building the actual hat. Okay, so now that we have our brim, we are going to switch to the 8mm crochet hook, a bigger crochet hook, and we are going to insert single crochets all around the brim of the hat. That'll allow us to build up. But first, we need to count our valleys. These in between the braids is called valleys. And we need to count and see if there's 24, or if we need to increase, which we might have to. So go ahead and count those, and I will be right back. I had 21. So I am going to have to increase 3. So in this first valley right here, we are going to do our single crochet and single crochet increase. You want to make sure if you do have to add or increase, you evenly distribute them around the hat. Okay, so I am going to do, and when you crochet, again, you don't want to crochet right at the top. You want to crochet closer down here. Okay, so we are going to do this in the first valley, single crochet. As a single crochet. So there's one. And then again in a valley. You kind of got to force it. There's two. There's three. Four. There's my next valley. There's 5. There's 6. There's 7. And I'm gonna a little bit of a knot here. And I'm going to 8, 9. So I'm going to do like an increase here, and probably an increase here and an increase over here. Just make sure it's evenly distributed. But continue on, make sure you have 24. And we'll be back. Okay, I have now made it to the end of the single crochets. So we're just going to double check and make sure we have 24. So we don't count this. This is our working loop. We count this one. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, and 24. Okay. So what we're going to do, we're going to slip stitch into that first single crochet. Okay. So remember how we slip stitch? So this one we're going to do under both instead of just the back loop like we did for the brim. We're going to go right under there and we're going to slip stitch it together. Okay, perfect. In our first single crochet, we're going to work kind of our first repeat. So you're going to chain 2. That's going to count as your first double crochet. Then we are going to double crochet to that first one. And then you loop over, pull through 2, and yarn over, pull through the other 2. That's a double crochet. Then you're going to chain 2, 1, 2, and then you're going to bring that all back down into the same hole and single crochet. Whoa! Sometimes you lose it. That happens. But you're going to single crochet. Now that is your first repeat. So from here on out, you're going to skip 2 and work into that third one. So skip 2 and we're going to work our first full repeat. okay, which is 2 double crochets, chain 2, and then a single crochet. Okay, so we're going to skip 2, yarn over, and go through the loop, pull up loop. Now you have 3. You're going to yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through the other 2. That's your first double crochet. So you're going to yarn over into the same stitch. You're going to do your second double crochet. So you're going to pull up a loop, 1, 2, 3. You're going to yarn over and pull through 2, 2. You yarn over, pull through 2. So there's a lot of 2s, which is why it's called double crochet. Now you're going to chain 2, 1, 2. And then in the same stitch, you're going to do your single crochet. Okay, so that is your second full first repeat. So now, again, just repeat all the way around. You're going to have a total of 8 repeats. So you're going to skip 2, 1, 2, yarn over. Okay, 1, 2, 3, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through the other 2, yarn over into the same chain, 2, 3, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through the other 2. That's 2 double crochets, and now we chain 2 and single crochet into the same. Okay, you see it's starting to build up now. So you're working your 2 double crochets, chain 2, and single crochet all the way around the hat. We'll do one more and then I'll fast forward. Okay, so you're going to skip 1, 2, and go to the third. Okay, you have 3, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through the other 2. Do another double crochet into the same stitch. You got 3, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through the other 2. Okay, now we stitch 2, okay, and single crochet. So continue the rest of the way. We'll have 4 more repeats, and I'll meet you back at the beginning. Okay, so I finished working my first round of repeats, and you should have 2 left. And we are going to slip stitch into your first chain 2 space, which is right here. It's being difficult. Okay, and I'll make it as tight as possible. Okay. And then you're going to pull up a little bit and turn your work. Now we're going to do the same thing for a total of 3 rows. So we're going to just be building up. So this is a row 1, and we'll do 2 more rows of those repeats, and then we'll start decreasing. But from here on out, you'll be working into the chain 2 spaces. It's like the holes are the biggest, so right here is going to be our first repeat. So we're going to yarn over, pull up a loop. We've got 3, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. That's 1. And we're going to do pull through 2, yarn over, pull through the other 2, chain 2, and in that same spot, single crochet. Okay, and we're going to continue all the way around. So I am back. I just finished working my second row of repeats, and this is kind of how it looks. So there's the brim, and then there's the first row, and then the second row. And now we butt right up to this repeat, and we are going to stitch to the bottom of the first double crochet. So we're going to go right in through here, and we're going to slip stitch, pull up our yarn, and we're going to turn our work. And the yarn's being difficult. And now we continue to do the same repeats all the way around. So I just finished my third row. I'm gonna slip stitch the first double crochet. And here's our hat so far, guys. Not too shabby. So now we have the brim, and we built up a little bit. Now we're going to start decreasing so we can cinch it in. Okay, so we are going to pull up our loop a little bit, just a little bit, and then turn our work. Now here is where you need your stitch markers. Repeats are now going to be 1 double crochet, okay, and you're going to put your stitch marker into that first double crochet so you don't lose your spot, and then chain 1, and then a single crochet in that spot. And that's your first repeat decrease. So you're going to do it in each of them. Double crochet, chain 1, single crochet. Okay, our stitch markers right here, so that way we can easily see where our first, well, we didn't want to go through the whole thing, but where our first double crochet is. We're going to slip stitch right to it. Okay, and now we're going to turn our work. See how you can't see hardly anymore where those begin. So it's going to be more feeling than anything. It's going to be right here. We are going to double crochet, put your stitch marker in your first double crochet. Okay. And then we're going to single crochet. So eliminating the chain 1. And then again, we're going to double crochet. And single crochet. And then right here, and bring it forward. and slip stitch. Okay, now we are going to turn our work. And then in these spaces, we're going to work our last decreasing rounds, okay? So we are going to do single crochet, decrease. So in the first one, we'll do a single crochet. And then in the next two, we're going to do a single crochet decrease. So pull up, pull up another one, and through both. Okay. And the next one is a regular single crochet. Okay. And then this one, pull up a loop, pull up a loop. Okay. So we are going to do a regular one here. And then in the next two, we'll do a single crochet decrease. So we'll pull up a loop, loop, all three. Regular. Okay, and then our last pull up a loop. Our last regular one. Slip stitch to the first. Okay. And then I'm going to come over here, my scissors, and I'm going to cut off some yarn there. And that'll help me cinch the hat together for this. I know it's scary, but all you're going to do is pull through. Pull that through. Okay. And then we just have to cinch it together, but look at it. It's beautiful. Okay, so for cinching the hat, you are going to thread your needle through a tapestry needle. And you are going to go ahead and put through all of your stuff because we're going to turn the hat inside out. Okay. All right. And then you are going to just weave it in all the way around the hat. Okay? It doesn't have to be perfect, it doesn't matter where, but try to get it, you know, in the top of those stitches here. Okay. Okay, once you've reached the beginning, just going to pull really tight. Okay. So now, because it's going to be laundered and it's a baby hat and you're going to have to wash it often, we want to make sure we weave in the ends. Weave it in random spots all throughout and just kind of go with the flow here, all different directions. Because like I said, this is going to be laundered, so we want to definitely cinch in those ends. Once you are satisfied, the scary part, just take it up and snip. Now we need to weave in our tail for our foundation chain. So as you can see, there's this little disconnect right there on the brim. So again, you are going to take your tapestry needle, weave in get your yarn in there. Okay. And you are just going to take it and connect it to here. Connect it over one. And now, as you can see, there's no more space. It's nice and even. And then you're just going to weave it in. Turn your hat back inside out. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is your hat. It's your Nikki baby hat. You can either leave it like that, or you can go ahead and pick up the brim.